Welcome, everyone, to the Nest at Hygge here at the Start Charlotte and Hygge's Techstars Experience event. We're so excited that you guys are here, and we're so excited to listen to the stories of our three panelists who have some amazing insights and lessons learned. We're going to set the bar really high. We're just really excited to kind of have them here to share their story with us, and we are so excited that you guys are here to hear that story and be there for them as well. So my name is Juan Garzon. I am the Executive Director of Start Charlotte. We are the voice of entrepreneurship here in Charlotte, and we would certainly appreciate if everybody here follows in the conversation that we're having today on social media. So you can hit the We Are Hygge, what's the?
Hygge CLT.
Hygge CLT, or the Start CLT on handles on Instagram, on Twitter. Our Instagram is brand new, by the way, so please follow Start Charlotte on Instagram because we're going to start posting pictures and all that today. So thanks, everybody, for coming out. Before we kick off the event, we do want to have a few quick housekeeping things. First, that door is going to be locked. As soon as I walk over there and lock it, if you need to use the restroom or anything like that, please walk to the back, walk around, and then the Hygge doors are open.
Yeah, it has the 2 white G's and says the word co-working under it.
2 white G's, co-working. You can go out there if you need to use the restroom or take a phone call or anything like that. And just go back to do that.
Yeah, just shoot down the hallway. You'll see a kitchen on your right. Right past the kitchen are the restrooms.
Cool. And then the second thing is immediately after this event, and I'll give another reminder at the end, there is a food truck roundup. So right after this event, you guys can go grab dinner, socialize, buy a beer for one of the panelists, and it will be right down this way.
Yeah, the water tower is a good marker. So on your way out, it's the big area that's marked with the water tower, and there's oil cans that say boiler yard. So easy to find.
So look for the water tower, and then you will have food, beer, and festivities. So we hope that you guys will join us all for that afterwards. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to introduce our host for today, and it is Mary Johnson, who is the senior editor of Start Charlotte and also a founder herself of Brave New Word. And she's going to come up here and introduce the panelists. I'm sorry. I also wanted to first introduce. So sorry.
Hello.
Garrett here
to
welcome you here at our space. I'm jumping ahead, but we want to give a big round of applause to Garrett for not only hosting this, but also providing all the beer and everything there. So please thank Garrett and Hygge. And then Garrett, you're going to tell us a little bit about the space we're in, right?
Yeah, so this is Hygge Co-working. So everything that's behind us that you may or may not experience is a co-working space. That's really the main function. The space you're sitting in is particularly special. So about a week ago or two now, we launched this, officially calling it the Nest, and that's a partnership with both the city and Google Fiber to provide basically open internet to anybody in the North End community. Along with that, digital literacy programming. Red Ventures will do their Road to Hire programming here. So really trying to actually be a part of the community we're in, and hopefully create something that helps people better their lives through simple things like internet, which we may all take for granted. But yeah, so for us to find a partnership in is there anybody from the city here? All right. It's often very hard to cut through red tape and make things happen. So to be able to partner with them and mow through this in 6 months, and then Google Fiber to believe in what we're doing, to be basically we're the second Google Fiber hub in Charlotte, which is huge to be second behind 7th Street Market, and to have it go to such a good cause, which is open internet to the North End community, is huge. So the Nest. Tell people about it. If you know people in the area, it's open all day, every day. So come on down. And that's it. Thanks.
Awesome. Yes, thank you, guys. And thank you. Just being here, knowing about it, and sharing that with other people allows you to support the Nest and all the awesome stuff that they're doing here in partnership with Hygge. So thanks again for hosting us, Garrett. So with that, unless I've forgotten anything else, I do want to introduce again Mary Johnson, our senior editor at Start Charlotte, founder of Brave New Word, and she is going to introduce us to the panelists and get us kicked off. So welcome, Mary.
Okay. Oh yeah, come on up. So thank you all so much for being here. I'm really excited. I've had the pleasure of getting to know all three of these women over the past couple of months in various capacities. I also office out of Hygge. They are Hygge-based startups, so that's part of it. But before I go any further, let me introduce you. Haley Bohan is the founder and CEO of SkillPop. Maggie Williams is the co-founder and CEO of the Waggle Company, and Dina Carey is the founder and CEO of Milkful. So they are successful women in their own right, but one of the best things that I've gotten to know about them recently is how committed they are to giving back and to sharing all the information they can with others. I've benefited from that directly, which has been wonderful. And now I also have a dog walker, and I have a place to learn about Instagram and knitting, and so it's been really great. So wanted to go ahead and get started by having you all talk a little bit about who you are and what you do. And one of the goals of the Techstars experience is to help you clearly articulate what your business does. So if you all could just sort of go down the line and give us your elevator pitch, that would be great.
Thanks. Yeah, I'll share a mic. I'm Haley Bohan, founder and CEO of SkillPop. We do in-person classes where you can learn anything from hand-picked experts in the community. So our teachers are anyone from stay-at-home moms who are self-taught artists to VPs of marketing, and we do classes on everything from art to marketing, so a whole range of topics.
I'm going to put this down. Do we need these too? Hi, my name is Maggie Williams, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of the Waggle Company. The Waggle Company provides peace of mind to pet owners. We train and manage a vetted team of pet care professionals. We offer fully customized services, including dog walking and pet sitting, to match each dog's specific needs. And then through our proprietary technology, we send real-time updates and a visit summary report that includes a GPS track map, pet photos, and our team members' comments.
Hi everyone, I'm Dina Carey. I'm the founder and CEO of Milkful, and Milkful is providing nourishment to breastfeeding moms through wholesome lactation snacks that help with naturally boosting breast milk supply for nursing moms. We are a digitally native CPG brand, so that basically means that we sell online, direct to moms through our site and through Amazon. And the vision for the brand is really to be the go-to resource for moms as they prepare to nurse and beyond. So we are working on a full line of functional food products that support women not only during breastfeeding, but throughout the entire prenatal and postpartum timeframe.
Awesome. So a lot of people would consider acceptance into Techstars as sort of a validation of your company or your idea. So what was it about each of your companies that appealed to Techstars and sort of got you into the program? But then also, what was it about Techstars that appealed to you?
I'll start.
I don't have a mic, so I'm just going to have to, no, but you go first.
Oh, okay. So I think, I'd say product market fit was something. I think we had spent the last 2 years, of our company, getting launched and really understanding where our product market fit was, understanding that there was a pervasive need, there was a sense of urgency, people are willing to pay for this service, and really being able to articulate that. And then, having a team and technology that was built to scale, I definitely think was part of maybe a fit for when we were applying. And then for us being a part of the Techstars network, the mentorship opportunities, getting the tool set to be able to do more faster was definitely the goal, and just being open to new things. And we really didn't know what to expect. We had Lisa, who had gone through the program last year from the WedClick, and so we had some kind of understanding, but ultimately it was like, there seems to be so much value add here, let's just go figure out what that is.
And I'll add, I think a lot of similar things. For us, I think one thing that's interesting about what we're doing is just the trends that we a little bit align with. So I think interesting trends right now are the ways people are going back to community, or the adult education space, just the way we're looking to learn new things and pick up new skills. What I think is exciting about what we're doing is that there are a lot of companies tackling that online and not many in person. So I hope that's what appealed to Techstars about us. I don't know if this is funny, but one thing I heard consistently throughout the program, so part of the application interview process is a video pitch. So you pitch for like seven minutes? I think it was, a 7-minute pitch over video. So it's like to a screen of 18 people. it is really miserable. Just because it's very hard to get any kind of like reader feedback over video to a group of people. And so when I pitched about 2.5 minutes in, the screen went black. I couldn't see anyone on the other side. And so not only could I like not read the room, I really couldn't read the room because there was no one there. And so I just like kept going, and thankfully Lisa was, I don't even know where Lisa is, but Lisa was in the selection committee and sent me a quick text like, we can hear you, keep going. And so I kept going. And then for months, people said, oh my gosh, we were so impressed when you kept going. So if you're like, just pray for technical difficulties, is I think it really impresses people.
That whole interview process was pretty brutal. I feel like it was like I don't know, your experience was a little different than mine because I feel like you kind of were a late ad, or you kind of like hopped into the application process and it all happened really quickly, and I feel like I had started a little earlier on and was really nervous about every bit of it and kind of spending all of my time working on the application. Once I kind of had met with Amos, he came to town and I just started getting really excited about the program. I think what drew me most to the program, I honestly was not investigating accelerators at the time. And it just was happenstance and a really cool thing that he was coming through the Hygge space. So big shout out to Hygge for coordinating these kinds of events for businesses like ours. So got to spend literally 3 minutes with him. And just so happened I was flying out to Austin the next week. And so I got a little more time with him out there. And I just got really excited not only about the structure of the program and how the 12 weeks, is it 12 or 13? I should know. 13. 13 weeks were mapped out, and how intentionally they worked through different areas of things with you along the way. But honestly, I know we talk about it all the time. You guys hear about it all the time. The network is really what I was looking for. I was looking for people to, this is so cheesy, but I say that, it was kind of the hug around my business I was looking for. I was kind of doing this on my own, trying to figure things out for a long time. And I still very much am, some days trying to figure it out and have no idea. But just having people that I felt like if I was in this program, I would then have some resources to turn to, and I wouldn't have to have all the answers. And that was just super appealing. So that was really the main driver for me.
I really love that, like the little hug around your business. Just have a really nice mental picture. So break down the program for us. What was over the course of 13 weeks? It's chunked up into thirds, I think, right? Like there's 3 different portions of it.
Yeah, and we thought we'd also give you like a day in the life. Oh, yeah. So we're just going to go off your script a little bit. But I'll give you like the high level. So yeah, it's chunked in the third. So we were there end of January through end of April. The first, we did like a couple days of orientation, but the first third is Mentor Madness. It is speed dating with over 100 mentors. So that was back to what was attractive about the program. That was part of it, was just getting a lot of quick feedback and a lot of quick thoughts and being able, I have a ton of great peers who are doing businessy and startup-y things, but I did not have a ton of mentors that were like my go-to, like I'm having a hard thing, what do I do? And so I was really excited about that. So that's the first third. The second big chunk is we're all just working on our business, and there were a ton of workshops sprinkled through. We had very intentional kind of practices, for lack of a better word, of the way we set goals and tracked things and presented how we were doing to the rest of the companies. And then the last part of the program is really leading up to demo day. So Techstars culminates with a big demo day where everyone kind of presents their business and talks about how it went. And y'all jump in on anything I missed for the high level.
I'm trying to think of the weekly rundown too. So Monday, I guess, was Thursday night the Happies and Crappies? Is that the only like structured weekly nighttime thing? Oh no, we did KPI meetings on Monday. So KPIs, that's something that Techstars is all about, is making your business, getting very metrics driven, getting very in touch with the data that's driving your business, and so setting KPIs around that. And so that would be kind of where we're reporting as a group on how we're doing, what we're testing that week, how things are looking. But more of the fun things that we kind of wanted to share also was just kind of the day in the life of living together and going through this crazy program. And Haley, we kind of glossed over Mentor Madness and how insane that was for like it was 2.5 weeks. It was a long time. And
I think we did on average 12 meetings a day. And so it was like speed dating set up. So you would go and meet with a mentor, and then everybody would just shift rooms. And you did probably 10 to 15 meetings-ish a day. And then the goal of that was to see who you clicked with. Mm-hmm. And the 20-minute meetings were meant for you to like give your pitch, get a good sense of give them a good sense of what you did, and then they would then kind of be a sounding board and then either give you advice or kind of see if there would be next steps to follow that. But as you can imagine, it was extremely exhausting, but it pushed everybody to limits where I think bonding-wise, we all I think suffered in misery, but bonded a lot because of it. And then it was really great practice. It was really great practice to kind of to have to be put under that kind of pressure cooker environment where you're meeting people you've never met. You've done a lot of research on them. We've stalked all their LinkedIns. We looked at who are these people to come in and be able to sync with them. So I think it was a great exercise and provided a kind of, I don't know, gave us some skill sets to now it's hard for me to feel uncomfortable now. Because I think Techstars did such a good job of making me feel uncomfortable in so many different ways that I'm just it's hard to face me now.
And then I guess a little more day in the life. So then Dina just glossed over. We all lived together. I don't know if that was that. Surprise. But that was that was not a Techstars encouraged thing. That was we were trying to find affordable housing in Austin and also kind of go with a little built-in support network or community. And so that was I think a funny part of the experience that was specific for the three of us and, oh, thank you. But it was helpful for the three of us, and then also we should not leave out that my husband and Maggie's husband were there as well because they also work for our businesses. And so there were 5 of us in this house, so the day would start and we had 2 cars between 5 people and 2 couples and 1 other gal. And so we were always coordinating what time are we leaving? And we're all piling in the Subaru and then driving to the office. And then we're trading cars to go to meetings. And then we're during Mentor Madness, we're going, having those 12 meetings a day and then dishing about how it went. Did you like this person? They thought I was crazy. So, and so it was just this constant fury of also keeping our businesses running at home and learning as much as we can and collaborating as much as we can and trying to not be all in each other's way. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that could have gone horribly wrong. And were you all nervous at all about living together, it turning into some sort of real world situation?
I'm going to let Haley talk about the evolution of how we all felt about living together. Because I think
there's no good way to interrupt, but there is a Chevy Silverado dark blue that is blocking someone in. So we do need to move that dark blue Chevy Silverado. So sorry about that.
Yeah, Maggie threw that one to me because I was the hesitant one about living together. And so there's this memory that I will never forget. And I don't know if you have to love this story, or you wouldn't have given me the mic, of we were friends before we went to Techstars, and we had all gotten into the program by this point. It's December. It's Maggie's birthday. And I'm at Maggie's birthday party with all of these friends. And, we're having a great time, So we'd been talking about Techstars, what are we going to do? And I was thinking oh, maybe we'll live together. I kept kind of skirting the question, oh, Steve and I are kind of looking for our own thing. And it's 11:30, and we maybe all had a couple of drinks. And I just remember Maggie coming around the corner saying, "You're going to live with me, and you're going to love it." And that's how it happened. And I did, yeah.
Yeah, I think, and you guys can speak to this, for me, living together was one of the best parts of the program, hands down. I mean, you're put into a new city. I'd never been to Austin before. All of these things that we were new coming into it, and we had each other. And there was something so important and valuable about that, and memorable to have people that were just on your side all the time. We were not competitive. We supported each other's successes. We even helped each other through the interview process. So we didn't really mention that, but when we were all interviewing at the same time, we all helped each other interview. Dina would have an interview, and then we would all sync about it, and we would, provide tips about oh, I think you should maybe articulate it this way. I mean, from day one, we really thought that we just knew this was a good opportunity, and we just wanted whoever who got in, and if we all get in, then that wasn't ever going to happen, but if it did, that would have been amazing, and to just get the most out of it. And so I think we always had that mentality that it was always very team focused, and living together, I think, just really heightened that.
And I was just going to say, as the fifth wheel, this was it was a no-brainer. I knew I wanted to do it because I just did not want to even think about, living out there and going through it alone. It was a big life change, a big kind of transition for me, those 13 months. And 13 months, that would be 13 weeks. I was flying back and forth, actually. So I have 2 little girls here and a husband, and he really stepped up during this time and was amazing to let me even think about doing this opportunity and going after it. And so, but I was doing the cha-cha every week, going back and forth. And so it was awesome to have them to return to, in Austin, and to have that group there and not feel like I was kind of alone out in Austin doing it. Yeah.
Well, you're also, apart from the social component and the family component, which are all huge, you're stepping out of the day-to-day of your business for probably the first time ever, apart from maybe a couple vacations that you've taken or not taken. And so what is that like? I mean, obviously I kept going to Skill Pop classes. My dog kept getting walked. I'm sure people were getting their Milkful bars in the mail. So everything ran, but how hard was that for you all?
Yeah, I'll kind of start, but just because we kind of talked about some of this during a lunch that we were at with Huga yesterday, and it was really cool that we all kind of experienced the same thing in that it was super challenging, but it was everything that was really hard in the program was also one of the things that we look back on and say, like, that was one of the best reasons and the most valuable things that we got out of the program. So it was super hard to be pulled out of the day-to-day, and all of us really struggled. And Haley, you kind of spoke to this really well, and I want you to again. Just we were going through so much. There was so much excitement every day. There were so many cool things we were talking about. We were thinking big, and like conveying those things back to people that weren't on the ground with us out there in Austin. There was kind of a disconnect that needed to be managed, and how do you keep everyone equally engaged with the experience? And so that was a challenge. You know, I think we all kind of handled it in various ways. But yeah, if you want to talk more on it.
I'll just
We're
take
gonna get like
closer.
tangled.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. 10 companies went through Techstars Austin, a variety of industries, a variety of stages. I would say, like the 3 of our companies were probably the furthest along there as far as just we had teams, whether it was 1 person or 4 or 5. You know, we had a little bit of a team. We had classes that had to happen, dogs that had to be walked, and there are other companies there that were just earlier stage, right? So I had moments in the program where I was definitely jealous of these companies who it was just, you know, the 3 founders, and they were there, and they were all together all the time, and they were just like building the thing and soaking in Techstars. And I think there were benefits for sure, and I can talk about those too, about being at the stage we were going through the program. But that was a hard thing of we'd be in these workshops, we'd have a mentor meeting, we'd feel really energized about where we're going, and then to try and communicate over Slack or over a video call when someone's just like on their way to pick up supplies for class or has just been answering customer service emails, like it's a really hard thing. And so that was for sure, we have a team of about 6 full-time. A few of them have been remote, but that was for sure one of the hardest things, was figuring out how do we, as a team, chase towards this big goal that we're really excited about and learn as much as we can at Techstars. When 2 of us are in Austin, a couple are in Charlotte, we're all trying to make classes happen, but also build the big thing. It was super hard. It was super, super hard. But I think, to Dina's point, really challenged my communication skills as a leader, really helped us start some conversations about good communication practices as a team, and was one of those things that ultimately, hopefully, made us better.
I think one of the most empowering things about being at Techstars and having both my husband / co-founder and I away from our team was to witness how empowered they were and how well it went, right? Because we weren't sure. We were always in the room with them, and it was just like, well, what's going to happen? Did we equip them? Did we support them? You know, is this the right decision for our business? And that went through my mind all the time. Like, are we doing this, for future growth, but not really thinking about the present? And I think one of the most liberating and just overall empowering things was to just see how well the team did when we weren't in Charlotte. And that made me realize how big this could be, right? That we've built something that can scale. We've built something that, we've built a machine that everybody, that people feel empowered to do their role, and they feel that they can have success, in each of those individual components that kind of make up what we do. And there's a lot. I mean, we are a logistics company. We do over 200 visits a day. We have 60 employees. We have 10 full-time salaried employees in our back office team. We have over 50 team members who are dog walkers. It's a big operation, and being away from our team and watching them just thrive just made me realize, like, do I even need to be here? It was mostly. Yeah.
Well, so the reverse of that is now coming back, and everyone's so used to operating without you. Was that a transition too? And then you're also coming back with, maybe we should put the question. But also you're coming back with those big ideas, and everyone else might be looking at you like, oh, well, how the hell am I supposed to do that? We've got all this other stuff going on. And how do you impart the enthusiasm that you guys picked up?
For us, we had some of our team come down to Austin to help them share in, like, the excitement, because a lot of it is you have to be there and you feel it, and you can't help but not get excited about the potential and the opportunity to kind of do what you want to do and have an impact that's meaningful. I think there's an art to it. There's an art to getting people, excited, and I think that's what our roles are, is like casting the vision and building the team and the culture. And I mean, I think from Charlotte and to Austin, I feel like everybody feels really excited about what we have in store. And so for us, coming back was kind of just this natural parlay into really starting to set some of those things in motion. A lot of what we did at Techstars was kind of setting the groundwork for future growth, and we are about to jump into that like full on. And everybody's super psyched about it. And they're all an integral part of that. And I think having that ownership and feeling that impact across the whole team is kind of how you keep that shared feeling.
I don't really have anything great to add. That was, yeah.
No, I was just gonna add, everything the same. Like, that is part of our jobs, is to get people excited and to help communicate the vision and say, here's where we're going. Do you want to come with me? So that's 100% the same. And I think we all of us brought people from our team to Austin. That was a big part of what I tried to do while we were there is I didn't want to come back and it be like, surprise, we're a different company. I wanted to like slowly along the way, so like, here's where we're going, here's what's changing, here's this thing I'm learning, and we're going to put it into action. And to Maggie's point, this is not a one-woman show. Like, everyone on my team is a part of it. The other thing this is a very small thing, but there were some very cool, just cultural things at Techstars that as a team we're trying to come bring back. So my husband and I got back into town last week, and the remote members of our team, we had everyone come in for the week. So we just like hit the ground running with a lot of FaceTime, like everyone in the office. One of my favorite parts of Techstars was Thursday nights. We all had dinner together, and they brought in a different founder every week to share their story. And I thought it was so, it'd be people who had like exited companies and were way further ahead, and you would hear them say they had thought the same things were hard that you think are hard. So that is something that we've brought back and are trying to do just with our core team, is to invite different people from Charlotte in to share their story, because I think one of the most helpful things about Techstars that can be done anywhere is just getting a perspective outside of whatever bubble you're in. And so for us, getting to meet other startup founders is just something we're carrying over.
So what did happen as a result of your companies going through Techstars? Where are you now compared to where you were 13, 14 weeks ago now?
Funny. Because I feel like, so much happened in such little time, and now it's hard to sum it up. I mean, I would just say, we've kind of talked about this, the biggest value that I got out of the program for sure is the confidence to think really big about my business, and to feel like it could be $1 billion business, and to feel confident in that. I did not really give myself permission to think that big before, but it's totally possible, and it's totally going to happen for us, because I'm so excited to build, and to get much clearer on the vision. I mean, there was some major ups and downs during the program, and it was like this cheesy moment when I had a breakthrough in one of these rooms one day, and I was just like whiteboarding and like writing all this stuff up there, and I was like sitting back, and then Amos came in the room, and like it was just, we were cheering and stuff, because I felt like I didn't know what I wanted it to turn into. I knew what it was going into the program, and I wasn't sure, it forced me to kind of put a stake in the ground. And to now have, a goal in mind, a true something that I'm working towards. So that's been the biggest thing for me. So.
I feel the same way. I mean, I think we know who we are. We did a little bit, going into Techstars. I think the way that they have it set up, and just like the constant probing and the constant questioning, like, do you really know who you are? Like, are you sure? And like, did you think about it this way? And what about this? And you have all of these people from all of these different backgrounds coming in to tell you differently, to make you think in different ways. I think we are very confident about who we are, and we know where we're going.
And I'll just add, like, super honestly, that we're still a little bit figuring it out. So for us coming out of the program, I would say there are some super clear things that were next steps of like, okay, one of the goals we set during the program was just to have some dramatic growth in Charlotte in the number of classes that we were holding. So we do classes in about 4 cities in the Southeast. And one of my favorite weeks of just work we did a lot of customer research. So we'd sent out a few student surveys. We have about, help me out, 65 students who have taken more than 10 classes, and we got on the phone with a lot of them, just to hear how their experience has been and hear what they like about Skill Pop classes or what they think they'd like to see more of, things like that. And one of the things that just came up from all that work was that we haven't had enough classes on the calendar in Charlotte, which is a good problem to have. People would say, I go to classes by myself because I'll send the link to a friend and she's not fast enough. So it sells out. So we put a lot of focus, and this is so long-winded, a lot of focus during the program on really dramatically growing how many classes we were doing here. And one of the things that was so valuable for that was it let us, we've grown, if anyone's been kind of following our journey, we've grown very steadily, just a month at a time, little by little. And taking a bigger jump showed us what kind of breaks and what things needed to be streamlined or needed a better system, or man, we're sending way more emails now than is humanly possible, or that is good for anyone. And so right now, I feel like we are kind of still in the weeds of here are the things that broke and here are the things that we're fixing. Similar to Maggie and Dina, Techstars was incredibly validating to just hear yeah, this could be really big, and this could be something that we're onto, and we should we should try and get there. A lot of that in between still feels really fuzzy. So I just wanted to be honest and say that still feels really fuzzy. But we're excited about where we're going the rest of the year.
So it's noteworthy that all three of you are female founders. The startup world gets a reputation for being very white and very male. And so were you guys the only women in the program? Were there others? And did your gender ever factor into your experience?
So it's a 50% split. So 50% of the founders were women, which is remarkable. And
But should not be remarkable.
Right, yeah.
Good point.
Well, yeah.
One day it will not be remarkable.
Right, statistically, it is remarkable for where we are. To your question about did it do, I didn't feel like it had an impact on my experience being a woman, and I also recognize that there are a lot of women and men who have allowed me to be able to feel that way for that experience. That's not something that I take lightly, that I feel like we were all, we noticed it a couple times and we thought it was cool, but it's this is the way it should be. There should be more, yeah.
I was just going to throw in kind of a funny comment. If you think about the fact that my business is just talking about breastfeeding and lactation and boobs, and I'm constantly talking to guys about it, and so it does throw kind of a funny element into a lot of the conversations when I'm pitching or now fundraising. But honestly, I think I've shared this before, and I don't know where I was, but it's been one of the coolest things about growing this business is to hear from so many men on the opposite side of the table that my business resonates with them because they saw their wife go through it. And it's so cool to feel in the beginning, I don't feel uncomfortable at all, obviously talking about it now, but just ooh, is he gonna be uncomfortable with this conversation, talking about my business, and to just totally feel so confident in it now and be pleasantly surprised so many times at how enjoyable those conversations are and this is, I don't know, that's kind of not speaking to your question, but just the gender thing and then the nature of my business, and yeah, so I didn't think much about being a female founder out there, and I don't think we should, and yeah, but I know it's a thing to talk about and something that is kind of going on, but yeah.
I'll share maybe just one thing to note. I think something that's interesting about all of our industries, super different industries, like lactation bars, dog walking classes, but all consumer brands, and the majority of consumer spending decisions are made by women. So I've always seen it, again, maybe not answering your question, but I've always seen it as an advantage to be a woman in a space where women are making the decision. And I think more people on the other side of the table are starting to see that too. I come from super male-dominated backgrounds. I was in engineering and then worked for a tech startup and then started this. So it has been one of the most refreshing things about probably the last year to build these relationships with other female founders and to see that change a little bit, see the scales tilt, and to see just how normal and awesome it feels.
That's very cool. So what was the biggest challenge for you all going through the Techstars process?
So I have a story because as I said, was doing the shuffle. So hands down, the hardest part for me was being away from my husband and my kids during that time. So I did get to see him every weekend, but I struggle with mom guilt as it is. And so being away for that amount of time was super hard. And of course, my husband had a ruptured appendix the first week of the program. So he had to have emergency surgery, and it was this super, super horrible ordeal, and he was hospitalized for several nights. And yeah, so that all was going on too. So of course I was home for it, but then had to go back to Austin. And so just being away was the hardest part. But to what I was saying earlier, I mean, we've talked about this. The hardest parts of the program were some of the most valuable pieces. And, I remember talking with Lisa when I was thinking about applying and trying to think about it in my head. That is one of the most valuable things, is that they pluck you out of your normal life. You are in the program and you are focused on doing as much as you can in that 13 weeks. And so being out there and being, away Monday through Friday, not doing the morning routine with the kids and the nighttime, and just having extra time to work on the business, you get a lot. Gosh, you can get so much more done when you don't. But yeah, so that was definitely a challenge. And we haven't even talked about the amount of crying that happened in the house. There was so much crying. Yeah. So yeah, that was my challenge.
Either one, yeah.
The question was about challenges, right? Okay. I'd say that there was just so much opportunity that was thrown at us, and for me, the biggest challenge was like, how do you make the most out of that? Like, how do you make the most out of every day? Given that there was like a lot of emotional to the crying parts and like physical just limits that were pushed. Everyone works really hard. We worked so hard because you had all the Techstars things going on, and then you had all of your business things going on simultaneously. And I think I always felt the sense of like, am I doing everything I can to get the most out of this experience? Because I felt very much like it was a privilege to be there, and that I wanted to make the most use of it because I know there were other people that wanted to be in my spot, and I wanted to be worthy of the spot that I had. And I felt that way all the time. Like, what am I doing to just get the most out of this and then give the most back? Like, how can they be really proud that they picked us to be a part of this program? And it was a challenge that I was excited to take on, because I think that's exciting. I think that's like a life attitude, is like, how do you make the most out of every single thing? And every single opportunity you're given, and every person that wants to talk to you, like that in itself is just like, I would sit down with these people and just be so excited that that they were having this conversation with me. And so it just, the challenge really came from like, how do I not let this opportunity slip away? How do I not have any regrets coming out of this? That I did as much as I can, the most that I could, to really make this just a super meaningful and worthwhile experience for everyone.
Yeah, I think I already touched on it. There were a few things, but I think the team thing was it for us. Was just the being spread out of it as a team, and then the both and of figuring out where we're going in the future, and knowing where we are now, and filling in how to get there, and keeping things running, and keeping everyone afloat, and staying sane, all at the same time, all with this constant source of feedback coming in of what we should do, or who we could be, or what could be different. And so I almost think just like staying focused was the challenge on sticking to my gut, and knowing what we were there for, and knowing who I was, for how, like, what my personal limits were, and what goals I had to get crossed off. But yeah, just staying as focused on, here's where we're going, and here's how we're going to get there, and I'm going to absorb as much as I can and try and like spit it out in the right direction. But there was so much going on, it was hard.
So you mentioned sticking to your gut, and that was another question I had for you all. You're getting all of this advice, which is why you're taking part in the program, but are there ever times where people who you've picked to be mentors are giving you advice and you just completely disagree? You think that they're just totally wrong?
We all dealt with that. Everyone,
Yeah.
I was very surprised that we were all anticipating it and well prepared for it going into Mentor Madness. We knew we were going to get a lot of feedback, a lot of questioning, but it was still continuing, like week 12, as we're preparing for demo day, and we're like, enough, like, this is the direction now, and like, yeah, I can't be thrown off. And they call it like the whiplash effect. So it was hard, specifically for me, I was making decisions about not pursuing retail opportunities, and people disagreeing with that, or whether or not to fundraise, and those kinds of things. So yeah, lots of that.
Yeah, and I would say that's something that wasn't, it was concentrated at Techstars, but it wasn't new for Techstars. I have felt like we meant to ask at the beginning, who's like a business owner or works for a startup in the room? Okay, so you can relate with me on this. I feel like since day one, everyone wants to give your opinion and say, well, here's what you should really do. And I don't have kids, but I think that's what having kids is going to be like. Am I right? Okay. so it wasn't a new thing. You know, it's something that day one people have said, well, here's what you should do, or have you thought about this, or have you thought about that, or like you guys should be this kind of company. I mean, I will never forget we had one Mentor Madness session, and I've done my pitch, and I've said like we've done 20,000 classes. I've given him like all the stats that sound really good, and he was like, classes. You know, you should do a speaker series because that's what they do in Kansas City. And I was like, what? Like, what did you? It was just so far off from like where we are and who we are, and like, like where did that come from? It was like he had something from like a library he went to that he was so hung up on, and so, Anyway, we'll never forget it. But so it's not a new thing. You know, I don't think it was an accelerator thing. I think it's super concentrated, and I think we all tried to look for the trends. You know, see like, oh, a lot of people are asking me about this, so maybe that's something I should incorporate in my pitch, or maybe that's showing me a fear that they have. Like, you know, we got some questions around expanding city by city because it's hard, and so investors who had invested in companies that have done that and failed would say you should not expand city by city because it's hard. You know, so we'd look for the trends and try and figure out the why, and I think that's what maybe what Techstars helped with was not just like listening to the thing and saying yes or no, but listening to the thing and trying to see where is this coming from.
It took time to get there, though. At first, we were all like
we were
running
perfect
around
day
like
one.
with our heads chopped off.
Yeah, I mean, similar thoughts. For 1 week, we were going to become a B2B SaaS company.
I was hoping you were
For
going to
like
say that.
1 week, we were just like, like this was enough feedback came out. But you know, we didn't. I think there is so much value though to having that push and pull because, like Dina said, and you know, you put your stake in the ground and you really figure out who you are. Also, it's super fascinating, right, to understand that the advice that's being given is coming from someone who has certain experiences or had certain success in the past that makes them feel that way. And that maybe was more valuable than anything, is to really understand your audience and who's talking to you, who's giving you that advice, and to be able to really pick through that. I mean, that's, like you said, that's life. Like, we get that all the time. And yes, it was a lot of push and pull, but then I think because we got such extreme advice to do everything from X, you know, all the way from A to X, it felt liberating to then make whatever decision you wanted to make, because somebody is going to disagree, right? Somebody's going to be like, that's not what I said. So, you know, I guess it's almost, it was permission to be just to keep using your own true north as that guiding compass, and to recognize that people are dictated by their past experiences, and the more you know that, the more you can really understand where it is they're coming from and think of it from that way.
So I'm going to ask one more question, and then I want to open it up for everyone here who wants to ask something too. But my next question is, what's next? I know, Dina, you mentioned fundraising. I know, Maggie, you all raised a considerable amount of money while you were out there. You know, Haley talking about expansion. What's going on, and what can we all look forward to?
Yeah, so I feel like I have a very clear vision now for where I would like the brand to go, and I am fundraising to build up the team, essentially, to help get us there. So it's a very small team right now. It's 1.5 people, me being one of them. And then I work with a lot of outside contractors and partners and consultants and things like that. But really trying to identify the right people to join the team to help us get where I want to go, and to spend a lot of time on product development, additional products supporting women during breastfeeding, but also earlier on prenatally and postpartum. And yeah, so that's kind of where we're at.
So after Techstars, so having Techstars now behind us, we did raise our first round of funding back in February. We closed that. One of our board members was here, so it was a show of support. So we are taking that, and really our plans are to expand in other markets, while still maintaining, if not enhancing, the quality that we provide. So we are building out our tech team to be able to really expand our technological capabilities in what we do and how our customers experience our service. That's always the focus, is how we can drive a better customer's experience. And then in addition to that, new markets, and then we're looking into new verticals. So we are kind of slowly testing out other ways that we can provide value to our clients, and there's a lot. I mean, we have a very intimate relationship with our clients. We go into their homes. We provide this specific service that has a deep need, and we are exploring other ways that we can continue to provide other types of services, you know, that really fit into our wheelhouse. And everybody's really jazzed and excited, and we're hiring a lot of people. So yeah, it's a big pivotal time in our company. So I think that we'll we'll be interested to see how, how it goes.
Yeah, that's funny. When I've been having a lot of like conversations recently, and people are like, "I'm really excited to see what happens." I'm like, "Me too, man." Me too. Yeah, we. So I'll say the where we are right now, and then where we'll be in the fall maybe is interesting. The where we are right now is kind of the not sexy under the hood stuff. It's all the things that we were just going back through and saying, how can we do this better? How can we do this more efficiently? We're restructuring the way our team operates a little bit. So it feels like we are just heads down, knee deep in a lot of weeds in a really good way, like stuff that I've been really excited to work on, and stuff that lets us just be smarter about how we do what we do and more obsessed about what we do. And so that's kind of the where we are right now. The hope is that kind of gets us to where we need to be to start growing faster. To start doing, we've opened these other markets in Raleigh and Greenville and Nashville. We'd like to be doing more classes there. We'd like to be doing more classes in Charlotte. One thing on our radar is the Lake Norman area. We haven't done anything there yet. I would say Atlanta and Austin are on our radar, but we're really just doing the unsexy heads down work right now, and then we'll get there when we get there.
I just wanted to also add in something that we've been talking about, the three of us, and kind of throughout the program is just continuing to try and brainstorm what are ways that we can bring, cool tidbits that happened out at Techstars? How can we create more of that environment for the Charlotte kind of ecosystem? What can we be doing to better support other startups out there? What can, so that is something we're trying to figure out, what kind of fun things we could be contributing to the Charlotte area now that we've kind of gone through this program. And so it's we don't have tons of great ideas yet, but we're working on it.